Welcome to SGTV interview sessions. I'm your host, Luke Baker, and we're here with two cast members or troupe members or whatever you prefer to call it, Laurel and Emily from the Second City. Thank you for sitting down with us today before your guys' show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So kind of the first question I wanted to ask was, could you guys give me just a little history of Second City and how it became this popular today?
Sure, yeah. So Second City is originally from Chicago. Improvisation was started in Chicago, and they were in this group called the Compass Players, and from the Compass Players, they started this group called Second City, where they used improv to create sketch. So similar to what you see on Saturday Night Live, it all started in Chicago and has been around for like 56 years, I think, some around there. Yeah, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now Second City, they have a theater in LA and also in Toronto. So yeah, and we're based out of Chicago.
Awesome. Sort of my next question is, how did you guys both get started in improv, and what kind of gained your interest at first?
Yeah.
I was always the goofy kid, and because of that, I had never received good grades in school. I never tried that hard, and then I went to college, and I was like, I guess this is life now, and I just started doing really well, and I was just like, right. And then Second City Touring Company actually came to town. They came to perform in Cincinnati, and I went and took a workshop with them, and everything clicked. I was like, okay, yes, this is truly what I've been missing. And I immediately transferred to DePaul in Chicago and immediately went and started training at the Second City. And that's kind of the end for me. It was that quick.
Cool. Yeah, I've always been a theater kid since I was like out of the womb. And I went to college for theater, and stuff wasn't really like clicking for me. Theater wasn't like getting parts and stuff, and someone suggested I take an improv class, and when I did that I was like, oh, this is what I'm meant to do. And so I moved to Chicago to do improv, and then eventually got this job.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And could you guys tell me a little bit about like the process that you guys had to do, like auditions or thing to try out for Second City?
It's a lot like any other type of training. Second City has layers of classes levels of classes set up. So you would take, there's A, B, C, D, E, and those are classes that anybody off the street can take these classes and learn the basics of improvisation. And then after A through E, you can audition to get into, let's call it their college program. It's like the College of Comedy, which is their conservatory classes. Mm-hmm. And after a certain point in that, you audition to continue in conservatory classes. And then once you're done, they invite you, maybe, to audition for, jobs there. So a paying gig like a touring company or a theater or one of the main stages. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I didn't take class at Second City, but I took classes at other improv theaters in Chicago, and then they hold these general auditions where usually like 1,000 people will come. Anyone can come audition, and out of there I got a call back, and then eventually the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's pretty competitive in that first
it
round.
Is.
Of
Everyone in
people.
Chicago, usually every other person you meet is there to like do improv.
Everyone wants that job. Too.
Yes.
Because which we feel very fortunate, because improv doesn't mean it after a certain level, improv can really make you money, but for most of, for a decade, for most people, you're just paying to take classes or performing for free. And Second City has 50 jobs open for, stage or corporate work. And everyone's kind of vying for those spots. So it's really competitive, but Chicago's great because Chicago is not cutthroat competitive. We still are happy for each other. We still support each other. That I really love.
Yeah, it's a big community.
It's great. And so could you guys just give me a little bit of overview of how you guys plan for your shows? I mean, obviously, it is a lot of it's improv, but sort of the scenarios that you set up and, what you guys play off of each other.
Yeah. So the show that we're performing tonight is a sketch show with improv in it. So Probably 75% of the show is sketch. So it's stuff that has been either that we ourselves have written or like our famous alumni have written, and we're performing what they wrote like 10, 20 years ago. And then the other 25% is improv. So we have like different improv, I guess like games that we play, or like just a scene where we'll get a suggestion of anything at all and then do an improv scene. So you'll see kind of all the things that Second City has to offer in one show.
Yeah, that's great. What do you think the most challenging part of kind of being part of the cast is for you guys? Or is it all fun?
It's not all fun.
It's not all fun. I mean, there's irritating things. Like we really are a family. We are with each other most of the time. So like the challenging part is looking at someone else and being like, shut up now.
Yeah, because like you're in a van with these people for like 8 hours straight, and like anyone that's in a van for 8 hours straight with anybody, like I love you so much, but like I want to kill you.
Yes, absolutely.
After 8 hours.
I mean, and it's all of us. And we all turns kind of like being a villain at some point.
Exactly. We take turns being brats.
We take turns being brats, and we take turns being like, what the heck is up with her?
Yeah.
Like, but in a family, I think the reason why that never feels really bad, like getting frustrated or just being like, why is she being like this, is because there are a few people in this world that I care about as much as I care about these people. Touring really gives you an insane bond, because you get to experience not only the country with each other, but kind of the hardships of like going to a theater and finding out that it's actually a cement box with a bunch of like cars inside of it. Oh, that's a garage.
And this is where we're performing.
Yeah. Or like, eating like really, really horrible food, and just like those things sound small, but when you're on the road for like a month or 2 weeks, being with these people is like, we can do anything together because we have done everything together.
Yeah, so it's some more of like a bonding type of thing. So like rather than a regular comedian who goes on the tour by himself or herself.
Yes.
It's kind of can be lonely and staying in hotel rooms and different things like that. So I guess that's sort of the unique part of that. Now, obviously, you guys are in improv in Second City, and it's kind of a big part. But do you have any other career aspirations? Like, do you hope to be on a television show or any things like that, or write your own series? Or
for sure,
yeah.
Like this job is like not possible to do permanently for any sane real person, right? But what's cool about like people that have come before us doing this job have eventually gotten jobs elsewhere, writing for TV, being on SNL, stuff like that. For me personally, I would like to just have a job doing comedy, which I do have, which is great, but doing one where I like to stay in one place sounds awesome as well. I don't know. Do you have?
I think the answer for both of us is this is an amazing job, and I wouldn't rather be anywhere else right now. We're so lucky to be doing it. No, excuse me, F being lucky. We worked really hard and we're talented enough to do the job. And what's nice about this job is that this feels like the last job that we'll have where we're kind of free in a way. Because after this, after you do Second City, after you work this hard and you hone your craft this much, the next job is like a paid writing gig on a television show where you're in one place for a long time, or you're in a series, or you're working on pilots. And so, for lack of a better way to say this feels like the last job where we get to be professionals, but we also get to be kids.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And now, I spoke to comedians in different troupes before, and they say that typically they change their show or their jokes a little bit when they come to a college audience. Is that the case with you guys, or do you typically try different things and that you feel will be more receptible to college students? We wrote our show when we are the age that we are, which is like 24 to 34, but we are truly maybe all 15 at heart. And so the show that we wrote is for, people that are like 25. And so when we change a show, it's because we have gone to like
like a small conservative theater in North Carolina, and everyone in the audience is going to be 65 and married. That's when we're like, maybe we cut the scene where we say the C word.
Yeah.
You know?
And like different venues will ask for different types of shows.
Absolutely.
What's nice about like this venue, this college venue, they asked for our show that we're doing right now, and they don't need it to be clean. Like sometimes we have to do clean shows. We're excited
sucks.
because tonight we don't have to do a clean show. We can just do our show and
it's not like
enjoy
the
it.
show gets that dirty. It's just like
Yeah.
when you're told not to cuss, you're like, what the hell? Why did you?
Yeah.
Why did you ask us? Why'd ask a comedy
Yeah.
troupe to come here if you didn't want to? Like, if you're like upset by the S word.
Yeah.
Like, truly, I know this is more. I don't know if we're allowed to cuss.
It
but
doesn't.
okay,
We're
good.
good.
We're allowed.
Yeah. And I always found that was strange. It was like people that get offended at comedy shows. Why are you here in the first place?
Why did you
Yeah.
come? And people, I
Yeah.
think people come to get upset sometimes because sometimes we're doing shows and it's like you're upset right off the bat, and this is like. I don't know what people expect when they get upset at our shows. I don't know what they expect. We're satirical, political comedy theater.
Yeah.
We are young comedians doing material we wrote. It's going to be about our lives. It's not going to be about like, the old folks home or the country club. It's just, that's not our experience, so we don't joke about it.
We don't know how to write about it. Yeah.
That's great. So I guess one final thing that I'm going to ask you guys. I was wondering if we can do a quick improv scene with you. And so I have a little scenario.
Do you do
if that's
improv?
possible. No, I don't. I've written for comedy shows.
Oh,
like we
cool.
have like a live sketch comedy show.
That's
we
awesome.
kind of based it off SNL, but sort of
That's
things
awesome.
like that. But I'll give you two characters if you can.
Oh, you're going to give us
Yeah.
characters. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So one of you, it's Kellyanne Conway talking to Donald Trump on how how not to nuke the EPA. So.
Okay. Yeah.
That's easy. I know a lot about the EPA. I know a lot about why we need to get rid of it. I don't need advice on nuking it at all.
Okay, Donald, I'm gonna need you to slow down. Okay, take a breath. Okay.
I don't even need to breathe.
Okay.
Breathing is for immigrants. It's for illegals. It's for voter fraud.
Okay. So, you do have the nuclear codes, which is frightening, even to me, Kellyanne Conway. But I'm going to need you to settle down because we don't need to nuke the PA. They're on our side. It's part of
I'm not going to
America.
nuke anybody. I don't need to press a button. I don't need to press a... I've always had the nuclear codes. I grew up with the nuclear codes. I invented the nuclear
You
codes.
did not invent
Yes,
or
I did.
grow up. No, you
69,
didn't.
69,
Donald.
69.
You did
I've
not.
always known this.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not. Okay. Maybe you should take a break, Maybe we should take a break. Maybe.
Always working. Never stop working.
Okay.
I have drive.
Okay. Well, can I at least take your phone away from you for the next hour?
I would like to tell everyone that I don't need people to babysit me while I'm on my phone. I don't use my phone for anything bad. I use Twitter because it's like a journal. Live journal so fun.
It's not a live journal. It's not a live journal, and you are the President of the United States. Please do not treat Twitter like your live journal anymore.
I'm President of the United States because all the people who voted for me are very popular, very big hands, very, very big P. And you know what I was going to say. I'd like to thank you for being here today, Kelly. Now I would like you to leave.
Look, this is my office that you're in, so I'm gonna.
Let's go to my office now, huh?
Well, okay. I'm really stressed, and you make it really hard.
Women, they cry.
No, I'm not. My period is about to start.
Oh, gross! I don't want to hear about the blood. Everybody's leaking. This is why Crooked Hillary could not win, because she's always leaking. Why is there blood?
Scene.
And on why is it blood and scene.
They're just alternate facts, right?
Yeah.
Alternate thanks. Jesus fuck.
It was great. I just wanted to thank you guys for sitting down for us. And so Second City's performing tonight at the Russell House. If you've already seen this, a great show. And yeah, thanks for sitting us down with us.
Thanks
Thanks so much for having us.